No one intervened on behalf of...
And now, coming to you live from atop the Goldenrod City radio tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL TCGcast!
Hello, 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 and welcome to the 97th episode of the PUCL TCGcast with your host, Basket. It is time for Brilliant Stars. I am so excited, and I'm here with the always entertaining Seth Vilo.
Well, howdy do.
And our long-lost negative Nancy, Sublime Manic.
If you stay negative, you ain't gotta get negative.
That hurts, bro. That hurts.
I'm sorry.
I may not be as entertaining this time because you guys, you dear listeners, get the soft-spoken Mr. Rogers version of Seth Vilo today here because I'm currently positive for COVID-19, so my voice is not what it needs to be.
Is.
I'm sucking on cough drops. Thank God I'm triple vaxxed though, so that's
Hallelujah.
Seems to be the extent of it, but you know, if I'm slightly less bubbly than normal folks, I apologize.
We're just trading places. That was me last week.
Yeah, exactly. This thing is no joke.
All right. So, as I had said before, we are going to be looking at Brilliant Stars. There is a lot of really cool Pokemon that I'm really excited, and a certain grouping of Pokemon coming up here in a little bit that I'm very excited about.
Grab your ice-cold Corsola Cola and pull up a chair. It's time for Tropical Beach.
All right, let's just go straight into it. Sublime, why don't you start us off?
Jumping right into the deep end, okay? We got the star, you might say, RCSV of Star, from the original Starburst set. It is a colorless Pokemon, as Arceus always is, with 220 HP. It's a basic, so we love that, and my goodness, Trinity Charge, double colorless. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon V in any way you like, then shuffle your deck. Did someone say combo? Did someone say combo with that one colorless card we get that don't do damage?
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah, I like that. And we got Power Edge for 3 colorless. Does 130 damage. Weak to fighting. Retreat cost of 2. No resistance. It's colorless, so you know you could just put it in whatever you want. We love that. Oh, the acceleration. My goodness. It's like the perfect pair with that double colorless that reduces your damage.
It is. It really is.
Because what do you care? You're not doing damage the first turn.
Exactly.
For 3 love it. And that's just the V!
Yeah, and then we get to the good one, which introduces folks to the V Star mechanic in the TCG. This is the first set that we have it, and we've got Arceus V Star. It's a colorless as well. It's got 280 HP, which is a weird number, but you'll see why in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 colorless energy, Trinity Nova does 200 damage, and search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon V in any way you like. It's the same Trinity Charge, but it does
With
200 damage.
Wild.
Which, it's crazy. And then we get into the V-Star mechanic itself. All of these V-Star cards have a V-Star power, which you can only use once per game.
Yeah, it can either be an ability or an attack, right?
Correct, yes. And it functions exactly like GX attacks prior. You will have, if we,
One per game.
ever do in-person events again, you will have a counter that you flip over like your GX cards, and that marks that you've used your V-Star power that game. So, now that I've given you the rundown of what it is, let's ask what Arceus is and why it's so good. It is Starbirth. During your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. That's it. Search your deck for any 2 cards you want. Doesn't end your turn. Doesn't count as your attack. It's an ability V-Star power, not an attack V-Star power. So just once per game, if you're really hunting for those final cards to get to the boss for game or whatever, or, you desperately need to set up, Starbirth for the cards, and you're good to go. And now the other part of V Stars, which is also why its HP is 280, which doesn't sound very impressive in today's V Max meta. When your Pokemon V Star is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prize cards, not 3.
Love it.
These are 2 prize big monsters with a cool ability. Weakness is fighting, resistance is none, and retreat cost is 2. That is Arceus. It is the prime thing of this set. You can, like Sublime
It is
said,
the V-Star.
it is the V Star.
It is the star.
You can weave this into anything or have it be the primary
Anything!
attacker.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've seen some lists for it already, and holy moly, is this going to change the game.
I love abilities and cards that allow you to like search for those things, because I always build things around like, I don't know. So I think the problem why I've never like gotten far in the tournaments that I've like been in. I mean, I've been in like some like small card shop tournaments and gotten like third, fourth place, but I have this propensity to want to be able to have an answer for as much as I possibly can. So if I can throw something in a deck and do that, I will. So this is the kind of card that I like live for. Because
It's
I'm like,
amazing.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I do have that answer right here. Let me just go grab that real quick.
Yeah, and you just weave a 2/2 line of this into any deck, and it becomes immensely better. So, get your copies,
Yeah,
folks.
it's so. I love how splashable it is. We are truly reaching the dawning of the age of Arceus.
We are.
And I just want to reiterate what Seth said about about getting them now, because I can only see these cards being increased in price. So, yeah, I would get them as soon as possible.
Yeah, unless they come out with like a tin
Yeah.
or a box, which I could see happening for Arceus.
Oh, yeah, if that happens, ignore me. But, yeah,
Yeah.
get the box.
Although, I mean, good luck getting one. That's all I'm going to say. If it is. If they do.
All right, next up, we have a old favorite with a new shiny coat.
I was about to say, I'm really glad you got this one, Basket, in the order that we're doing this. This is just way too perfect. Go on, though.
Oh, I love that for you.
So, this is Wormadam. He is a grass Pokemon, HP 110. He evolves from Burmy, and he has a two colorless attack called Madam's Rage, 30 plus damage. This attack does 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. Does this sound familiar, guys?
Sound familiar?
Maybe.
All right, so basically, this is Vespiquen 2.0.
Yeah.
You know, for the people who have been listening to the TCGcast, they can't help but escape when I've talked about Vespiquen.
Your favorite.
Every single episode.
Every single episode. And how I use, well, you know, Thatch has, he has Gen 4, and I have Vespiquen.
You have Vespiquen.
It was a great era. I did love that era of the TCG.
All right, so what makes this so great is, you know how I always talk about how I had to use the that Eevee and the Evolutions in order to change the typing so I could do super effective on multiple decks? Well, this one, there are a total of 3 different Wormadam, and they all have different typings. So the first one that I talked about just now was grass, but we also have fighting and metal. And this is fun for me because it's just switching it up. Now it's grass, fighting, and metal instead of grass, water, and fire.
Now, here's a question.
Go ahead, Sublime. I think I know what you're going to ask.
Okay, maybe you can answer the question then. If they're all named Wormadam, can you only have 4 copies even if they're all different colors?
That is
or,
correct. They
types?
do not have the trash coat, grass coat,
ooh.
whatever coat tag in their name. They are all just named Wormadam with different art. So you have to pick carefully.
Yeah.
I imagine it'll be 2 fighting and then maybe 1 grass, 1 metal, because those types aren't as good for weakness, but fighting's really good. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, but it is nice if one of the if there's something that gets strong that has a weakness to one of these
Exactly.
types, you can adapt.
But
which is
in the
nice.
world of Arceus, the fighting type will absolutely be the primary Wormadam.
That, but also there is a card at the bottom. I can't remember if it's a stadium or a. We'll get to it eventually. It's down here. Oh no, it's a supporter card. But there's a supporter card that we're going to get to, and I'll reference it when it comes up. That I think is going to really help make it so that it's really not that big of a deal that you can only have 4 of them.
I'm very excited.
All right, and well, I mean, the Wormadams do have other attacks, but they cost their actual color, and we're not here for that. We don't care about that. We want Madam's Rage.
No.
Yeah, I doubt you'll run the other color energy cards at all.
All right, Sublime, take the next one.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be a Pokemon set unless Charizard was somehow alluded to, referenced, venerated. Okay, so we got Charizard V Star, the second star of the set. Okay,
The one that'll
so
make
this is again only worth 2 prizes, 280 HP. And its regular attack is called Explosive Fire. And if it has any damage counters on it, the attack does 100 more. It costs 2 fire and a colorless to do 130 damage. Or if you have any damage counters, it does 230 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then the V-Star power that you'd be using is called Star Blaze. It's 3 fire and a colorless, and it does 320 damage, so you can knock out all them V-Maxes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. So it's a one-shot, you know, as your V-Star power.
Gosh, if only there was an easy way to get damage counters on a Fire-type Pokemon.
Yeah.
Golly gee willikers.
Yeah. Worth 2 prizes. We love that for that. Weak to water. Resistance to...
Nothing.
I can't quite read it so easily.
Nothing.
And then retreat to. Yeah, okay. The art from the V-Star power was throwing me off because it's so different and new.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very pretty. It's very, it draws you in.
It does. It's very neat. It's like a glimpse into space.
Yeah. It's our second V-Star.
I think I've got the next card, which is our third V-Star. We've got Shaymin V Star, and for those who want to picture it in their head at home, it is the Skyform Shaymin. It's got 250 HP. It evolves from Shaymin V, of course, which there is also in this set, but it's yucky, so we're skipping it and going directly to the star. The attack is, for a grass colorless, Revenge Burst. 120 damage, and this attack does 40 more damage for each prize card your opponent has already taken. So, a typical, like, rally back type attack. There are lots of those, but this one has pretty good numbers just off the bat. After they take 2 prizes, that's Crobat knocked out and many other things.
And it's cheap.
It is cheap. And the ability is, well, rather, the V-Star power is an ability called Star Bloom. And it says you may use this ability once during your turn, like once in a game. You may use this ability during your turn. Heal 120 damage from each of your grass Pokemon. So that's the V-Star power. You can heal 120 from everything once. Kind of okay. I don't know. It could be useful.
Not my favorite.
Yeah. Not the most powerful V-Star power, but it's still good in like niche situations against maybe spread decks, which are probably going to die off for the reason that we'll cover next, but worth 2 prizes, weak to fire, retreat cost 1.
All right. So, next up, this will be the bane of quite a lot of
god.
decks. So, Manaphy, water type, HP 70. Its ability, Wave Veil. Prevent all damage done to your benched Pokemon by your opponent's attacks.
Woo!
Every single Decidueye and...
Well, notably not things like Decidueye and Inteleon, because those drop damage counters.
Counters are not the same, that's true.
Yeah, those are slightly different, but Jolteon and Urshifu Rapid Strike.
That's right.
Those are the big ones.
It's over for.
Sublime, why don't you take the next one?
Raichu said, you know what? I can be a star all by myself. I don't need a V-Star. It's just a regular a V. Lightning type with 200 HP is the basic, because it's a V. And it's got my very favorite card attack called Fast Charge for 1 lightning. And if you go first, you can use it on your first turn, which we love. We love that. You search your deck for lightning energy and attach it to it. Then shuffle your deck, so that's nice. So then you set yourself up, if you went first, for a dynamic charge, which is 2 lightning and it does 60x damage. You may discard any amount of lightning energy from, get this, your Pokemon in play, not just the Raichu. And this attack does 60 damage for each card you discarded this way, and it's worth 2 prizes, weak to fighting, so watch out for that Wormadam, okay? She got that rage. And retreat cost of 1.
That's fantastic. I love this attack.
It is. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And reminder, there are Flaffies in the format that charge from your discard pile to your benched Pokemon.
Yeah. So you can just, you don't have to discard from the right. You can do some big numbers very easily. Could definitely make a strong deck with this, you.
I love that idea of Raichu, jumping and dodging around the battlefield and, just a bunch of Flaffies just kind of, slowly rubbing themselves together, to static
Get
charge.
that static electricity, yeah.
Cheerleader pom-poms in the back for the Raichu.
They just came out of the dryer, so they're extra static.
Exactly.
You know? Too much.
Anyway, we've got Dusk Noir. It's a psychic type with 160 HP. It's a stage 2, evolves from Dusclops, and its ability is Special Trans. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a special energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. And then a really simple attack. Psychic, colorless, Soul Eat for 120. Weakness Dark, Resistance Fighting, Retreat cost 3. Could be useful for moving.
Yeah, I added this one for the ability because I just thought that I don't remember ever seeing an ability like this, being able to move special energy around. So I thought that was super, super interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to try and manage a stage 2 for that, but it's definitely a powerful ability. Maybe not so great on a stage 2.
It's good to have the option for it. Normally, things like that are, for instance, the Bronzong that we have right now can move metal energy. It doesn't say basic, so things like Aurora energy can be moved. But this isn't tied to a specific type. This is just any of your special energy, which there's a lot of right now.
There is, but it is a stage 2.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's good that it exists, but stage 2, blech.
All right, next up we've got Whimsicott B. This one is Psychic type, HP 190. For 1 Psychic energy, it has an attack Fluffy Obstruction. 20 damage. If the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. For 1 Psychic and 2 colorless, you have Cotton Guard. 90 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. Weakness to metal, resistance none, retreat cost of 1.
Very good for a basic, but it's what's next that's cool.
Yeah, well, because it was it got a V Star. Whimsicott is the V Star with 250 HP. And it's still psychic, and it has a regular attack in Tricky Wind, which is 1 Psychic and 2 colorless for 160 damage. Your opponent cannot play Pokemon tools or special energy from their hand during their next turn. So you said, Urshifu? I don't think so.
Right?
No. That's nice. Very annoying. And then it's V-Star power, I think is situational, but situationally good. Cotton Ball Star for 1 Psychic. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Ooh, doesn't have to be the active. For each energy attached to this Pokemon. Weak to metal. So that Wormadam, you might have the 1 for it. Retreat cost of 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our new Calyrex Shadow Rider partner.
He did need one. That's true. We needed a new partner.
This is in some ways far better than Alcremie. It can still hit those devastating numbers with that V-Star power once, and that Chaos Wheel-like attack, if you remember good old Giratina EX from 1,000 years ago.
I loved that Giratina.
Yeah, you did.
I loved my girl Tina. I loved that card for her. Yes. Oh.
I wish it said you can't play stadiums or special energy, because that would be devastatingly powerful in Shadow Rider, because then you can't be hit by Path to the Peak. But tools and special energy is fine.
It's only worth 2 prizes, too, so they'd have to knock out 2 Shadow Riders and this. That's nice.
And it alternates your weakness so that things like Moltres don't hit you for your entire deck for weakness. They've got that metal typing in there too.
Diversification of weakness. Love that.
That was the other reason you ran
that makes
Alchemy.
it way stronger too. You're right.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be great in Shadow Rider.
I mean, that's a great deck, so get into it.
All right, moving along, we've got the most important card of the set. We've got Pachirisu, which is a lightning type with 70 HP, and its attack for lightning colorless is Wind Up Thunder. It does 30x damage. This attack does 30 damage for each Pokemon tool attached to all of your Pokemon. It's weak to fighting, resistance none, and retreat cost 1. And you might be thinking to yourself, gosh, Seth, 30 for each tool. If you have 6 Pokemon out, that ain't a whole lot of damage, is it? Because you can only have 1 tool attached to each one of your Pokemon. If only there was some way to fix that.
Well, here it comes, flying in from the treetops. Honchkrow V, Darkness type, HP 200, basic Pokemon, ability, Honcho's Stash. This Pokemon can have up to 4 Pokemon tools attached to it. If this ability stops working, discard tools from this Pokemon until there is 1 tool attached. That is why we're here. We're here for this.
Memes.
Absolutely fantastic. I love this. I like the idea that, like, because, I mean, crows and squirrels are literally in, like, every single part of the planet. I love the idea.
I hear crows and squirrels in my backyard all the time.
A match made in somewhere.
I love the idea of just, like, being, like, terrified to walk into any forest, like, looking out for Pachirisus and Honchkrows. It's so much fun to me.
Vermin tool drop.
The Honchkrow also does have an attack for 2 darkness and a colorless. Shadow Fear, 130 damage, and your opponent reveals their hand. Weakness to lightning, resistance to fighting, and retreat cost of only 1, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I was expecting a bigger retreat cost, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
And that Shadow Fear attack is cute, and, like, you can know what your opponent
The
has.
hand reveal, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
You can know that you're about to be tool scrappered.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, you'll see it coming.
Exactly, just like, oh, dang it.
It's like if you were a psychic, but the only thing you could see was your own demise.
Exactly.
Doesn't let you do anything because it's the attack. After the attack is done, what you gonna do to adapt?
Nothing.
I mean, you will know what they have in their hand in case they don't play all their cards, so you know they have them. So knowledge is power.
Do they have boss for
Well, let's jump on.
That just reminds me of that episode of Rick and Morty where, like, Morty can see, like, the like 5 seconds ahead of, like, his future plans. Of,
And
like,
he's
his
sounding
death
out
and
words
like
or something like that.
Yeah, and he's just terrified to do anything.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh my god, very that. Yeah. Well, we got Spiritomb, if you're still into darkness. It's a basic 70 HP. It's got ticking terror for a colorless. Until the end of your next turn, the defending Pokemon's weakness is now darkness. That is cool. And then we got Curse Drop for 1 darkness. Put 2 damage counters, mind you, on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. And it's weak to grass. So I'd say you could bring that Wormadam, but you probably don't need to because it's only got the 70 HP. But retreat cost of 1. So, you know, that ticking terror is cute. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. Anytime, like, I mean, for me, this would be in every single dark deck I played, like, as long as this is out there. Just because, yeah, the ability to throw out weakness, I mean, sure, it's going to be a little clunky because you're going to have him out there and then attack.
Yeah,
you're gonna have
it's
to
not elegant, but it is interesting.
But it is very, very cool.
I just thought of how this combos. The biggest dark deck, of course, well, not biggest, but the most notable thing is in Eternatus, just as like a one-of, because there's something later on that we're going to talk about that completely cripples Eternatus, and this attack essentially negates that cripple. We'll get to it later, but this,
Yeah, it is.
Another card bad for Eternatus.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This counters the stadium. That's so cool. I just thought of that.
Interesting.
It's amazing the things you think of when you're going through all the cards. Anyway, onto a Trashmon. We've got Flygon V. It's Dragon type with HP of 220. It's a basic and 2 attacks for Grass Fighting, because dragons are weird and they do colors of the Pokemon as their attack cost. So, Grass Fighting, Sand Spray for 70 damage. And then for Grass Fighting, Colorless, Dragon Impulse. It does 160 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V Max, this attack does 160 more damage and discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. So, if it's a V Max, you do 320 and discard 3. When this is knocked out, your opponent takes 2 prizes, weakness none, resistance none, as with all dragon types now, and retreat cost of 2, which is actually a lot for a Flygon.
Flygon can just never have nice things.
There was that
No
one.
Mega, no VMAX. Flygon's not like to have nice things.
When I was reading the first attack, or sorry, the second attack, I was like, okay, this is all right. This is kind of interesting. And then all of a sudden, it's like discard 3 energy. If it was 2 energy, fantastic. If it was, but 3, like that kills it for me. That absolutely kills it for me.
Yeah, and I can't think of a way to efficiently accelerate that attack. That is...
It's a basic, so you could attach that anything basic energy, right? Or
anything basic energy? The Aurora?
No, I don't know. Not basic. Like, there's so much special energy. There must be something you could do.
Yeah, if you do special.
But it doesn't seem worth the effort.
No.
You know? To have to pay for the attack cost with all those different colors.
And with quote-unquote only 220 HP, that's going to be one-shot by so much.
Right, like, by the time you're setting it up to take out a VMAX, they already one-shot you when you had 2 energy on it.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't find Grass and Fighting and... Yeah.
And there's no double dragon right now.
Exactly.
I loved Double Dragon. Just bring it back. It wouldn't even make it that strong, you know?
Now that ADP's gone.
Right.
Hey Puckalonians, it's Sublime Manic. Can't get enough of your favorite flip-flopping podcast? Then check out our social media. You can find links to our Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube all from our website, pucklepodcast.com. And you can join our Discord to hang out with your favorite hosts and other Puckalonians. Also, check us out at twitch.tv/thepucklepodcast. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. You can also check us out at YouTube at YouTube/PucklePodcast. And we also have a Patreon if you're able to give anything at patreon.com/PucklePodcast.
All right, next up, we've got a very surprising Pokemon that's actually pretty decent. Mm-hmm. We have Bibarel. It's colorless, HP 120, evolves from everybody's favorite cutie little Bidoof. And then we have an ability, Efficient Front Teeth. Once during your turn, you may draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. Awesome. Fantastic.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a lot. That's a lot of cards.
And then, of course, in Bibarel fashion, it has an attack that is pretty trash. For 3 colorless, you have Tail Smash. It does 100 damage, but you got to flip a coin, and if it's tails, it does nothing. So, weakness, fighting, resistance none, retreat cost of 2.
This is very good for support. This is Abyssal Hand. This is Sylvali's Drive.
Octillery, Eat Your Heart Out.
Right? It's so nice to have this back, and on something that isn't stopped by Path to the Peak.
A lot of the time, if you get, like, this effect has been replicated numerous times.
Yeah.
And it's always good, but it's good on things that give you 3. This gives you 5?
Yeah.
Good. Good stuff.
And it's a Bibarel that's useful.
Yeah. Did you say, you know what, I don't want to do Shadow Rider Calyrex. I'm just not. I just can't. Maybe you have an aversion to horses. Maybe you have an aversion to horses, but you're obsessed with the barrel, or for some reason. This is your moment.
Or you just want an excuse to have a Bidoof in an actual tournament-ready deck.
Honestly, yeah. This'll be
That's
useful.
fair.
I mean, I'm going to put this in my Wormadam deck.
Heck
sure.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of decks are going to run this, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's such a good draw backup engine, you know?
I just love the idea of running a deck with Burmy, Wormadam, Bibarel, and Bidoof. Like, is that not the best deck?
Right.
Like, in the history of Pokemon decks? Like, being able to have these trash Pokemon, like, and, like...
Exactly.
Just destroy, like, these fantastic, amazing creatures with these stupid, derpy little things.
One thing I want to point out to the audience that I've pointed out to you off air, Basket, for that Wormadam deck, there is currently a Zoroark that has an ability that when it's a Zoroark, you can discard that and switch places with a Pokemon in your discard pile. So that takes a Wormadam out, yes, subtracts 10, but then adds in Zorua and Zoroark to your discard pile. So it's a net 1 gain.
That is fantastic. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's a very good combo just with that. And that lets you it lets you grab a Bibarel if you want to. It lets you do all sorts of magical cool stuff. So run it with Zoroark, folks. That's the key.
Zoroark is the opposite of Flygon. They don't make bad Zoroarks.
Right. Exactly.
Like, every Zoroark card is interesting.
I'm literally writing that down. Which set is the Zoroark from?
Oh gosh, I want to say either Evolving Skies or Chilling Rain. I don't remember which one. One of those, I think. I could be wrong. Anyway, we've got the final Pokemon from our review, and we'll note this. The Pokemon we've been going over are from the Japanese Star Birth set, which is part of what our Brilliant Stars set will be. This Pokemon is a notable one from the VMAX Climax set that will also, presumably, be part of our Brilliant Stars set. So this one might be in Brilliant Stars, pretty sure it will be, but there's a chance it's not. So here we go. It's Ice Q. It's a water type with 110 HP, basic. It is a Fusion Strike Pokemon, the only one being added, or the only new one that we've seen since the Fusion Strike set. And it's got an attack for water colorless, Block Slider. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 40 damage times the number of Fusion Strike energy attached to your Pokemon. Don't apply weakness or resistance to benched. It's also got water colorless Icicle Missile for 100, but that's irrelevant. You would do it for that Block Slider attack as maybe a one-of in Mew decks to hit the bench. But with Manaphy coming out, this is probably going straight into the binder, never to be seen again.
If you can fish Manaphy forward, you can get rid of her.
Yeah, that's very true.
She only has 70 HP.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's a potential inclusion in Mew. It is dependent on how many Fusion Strike energy you've got out, but with most of the Mew engines running multiple Ellis's Sparkle, getting all 4 of their fusions out pretty consistently.
That shouldn't be hard.
You can pop something for 160 pretty easily. So, it's an inclusion, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, that Bibarel.
Yeah, there.
Is she in danger now?
With 3 of them, which is Ellis's Sparkle turn 2 manual attach.
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to move on to trainers. And Ultra Ball is back, baby, and just in time for the Wormadams.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
Oh, finally. And it's a card you don't have to buy, because you probably already have
a billion. I've already pulled out all of mine from my expanded boxes.
I have my gold full art one. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I wanted to get them.
That's fantastic.
It was on the app. It was on the application. It's a digital. It's a digital.
Oh, I got one.
But I'm still very happy to have it, because I can use it again.
I should have bought a playset. I knew I should have bought a playset when they were really cheap, and then the announcement came back that it was reprinted, and they immediately tripled in price.
And it's over. Yep.
I'm so excited. This will make, every deck astronomically more consistent. So.
And it's so great for anything that plays with discards, too.
Exactly.
AKA Wormadam. Yeah.
And it can search out V-Unions. This might be the
anything.
That does those in.
Yeah. And just to clarify, in case anybody's new to the TCG.
Yeah. Good.
The Ultra Ball, you can grab any Pokemon if you discard 2 cards from your hand.
Yep.
Which it synergizes with so many things. There are so many, Ultra Ball's one of the best cards ever made, so consistent, so usable, so exploitable. Think about it, you compare this with Bibarel. Bibarel gets better because you're thinning your hand.
Exactly, yeah. There's sometimes you just don't have anything, and you're like, well, look, I don't super need a Pokemon right now, but I do need new cards, so I'm gonna just do this.
4 of and everything, immediately.
Ultra Ball is so good. But we'll move on to another item that's not quite a reprint, but it's certainly a effect we've seen numerous times. It's Choice
reprint.
Belt. It's an item. It's a tool. So the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active V Pokemon V, before applying weakness and resistance. So, add 30 to your VMAX math, or your VMath.
Y'all probably know.
You already,
it, but-
you know the drill.
Yeah.
You know, we've had this for GX. You know,
And all the V weird things, the V Maxes, the V Stars, they are all
the
still
V Star,
V
the
Pokemon.
they're all still V.
I wish it was just rule box, personally, because they've started doing that.
That would be more universal, but you know,
Because this will probably, if the next weird mechanic comes out, who knows if we get Gen 9 at the end of the year, but we may have some, I don't know, they start naming them after ice cream flavors.
non-V. It'll be Q next. You never know. It'll be R. What's another letter they haven't used?
Yeah, right? There's 25 others.
They'll pick a letter randomly, right?
There's 25.
GX, EX, V. Maybe it'll be QR codes. I don't know.
Each one of them has a QR code.
Yeah. Pokemon QR Max. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Just to be
You
clear,
can scan it to see the attack.
the Pokemon V, does that include V Union?
Yes.
Yes.
V Star,
Yes.
all that? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
If it has the little black, if it has the V drawing in the upper left-hand corner of the card, it applies.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so get a set. And then you'll have to get a set of the next thing when there's another moniker. that we're using.
Exactly.
That's why they don't do a rule box, because then they can't sell you 4 more choice belts.
Exactly. I guess that's what it is. Blah. Anyway, on to the most important card of the set. We've got Pot Helmet. It's a trainer tool card, and if the Pokemon this card is attached to doesn't have a rule box, it takes 30 less damage from attacks of your opponent's Pokemon. Ta-da! We fixed single prizers. They now take 190 damage from Mew instead
of 220.
We fixed it.
It's good. It tickles me. Oh, I'm very entertained.
How stupid. What a stupid pandering card. It'll be fun in tournaments and pre-releases and crap where people are running garbage cards to just get through the pre-release, but what a dumb card. Why is this here?
That's just silly.
Makes me mad.
So next up we have Roseanne's backup. This is that supporter card that I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
That I was really excited for, specifically for the Wormadam decks. So it's a supporter, so you can only use one per turn, but you get to choose one or more of these. So one or all of these little abilities.
It's like a buffet. Okay.
It
You
is.
do what you want.
So you can shuffle a Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. That's why I was talking about how it might not be that big of a deal for you to only be able to have 4 of the Wormadams. Shuffle a Pokemon tool card from your discard pile into your deck, which is cool. Shuffle a Stadium card from your discard pile into your deck. And then shuffle an energy card from your discard pile into your deck.
It don't say basic either.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there is a, spoilers. There is a double colorless, which is the same attack cost of the Wormadams.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just shuffle that back into your deck and shuffle whatever Wormadam you need, or whatever you need for the situation. Pokemon tools. You're going to be using attack increasing
Pot
tools.
helmet.
Not pot helmet, but attack increasing tools in the Wormadam decks. So, honestly, I like the idea of, and with Ultra Ball, being able to just stash things there as well if you need to. Like, they're not gone. You're just waiting till later,
Mm-hmm. This is so good. I love this. And it's exactly what a lot of decks needed. For instance, I'm a Mew player. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm putting one of these in my Mew deck. Because what do you need back? The Mews and Meloettas and things like that. And the tools. And the Stadium, so you're not Path to the Peaked. And the Fusion Strike energies that probably got discarded early. You want all these back.
It's very versatile. Yeah, any of the reshuffling cards are always good. Like the rods or,
Yeah.
medic, what I forget all the names. They've always had options to fish back from your discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a specific amount of this, or you can do maybe 2 of these, but that's the only kind. The fact that this is, hey, pick one of a bunch of different things if you want.
Or all of them.
Very versatile. Yeah, or all of them, yeah.
Or 2 of them, or 3 of them.
Exactly. And another reason why I love this card too is in Vespiquen and Night March decks, you're really close to decking yourself out.
Yep.
A lot of the times. So I would have cards that would let me throw things back from the discard into the main deck. And sometimes I wouldn't use them until the very end, where it was just like, okay, I just need to throw something back in there so that I can last these next 2 turns so I can win, you know? But this, you can throw 4 cards back into your deck,
Very
no
powerful.
problem.
Yeah.
You know, that's 4 turns. Like, you're not, at that point, you're probably not even doing it. Like, you've got everything you need to win. You're just doing it so you can keep playing, so you can win.
I love this card. This is so good.
All right. Sublime, next up.
Yeah. Continuing with cards that are good, let's talk about Kindler. It is a supporter, just so you know. But you discard a fire energy from your hand, and if you do, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you can put 2 of them into your hand. That's very good. And then you shuffle the rest back in. But 2 out of the top 7 that you get to choose, you're bound to find some good stuff.
Like, this ain't no Great Ball or Pokegear. Anything.
Yeah. So 2 for the price of, well, technically it's the price of 2, because you're paying with a energy and the supporter.
Oh, yeah, true.
To get 2 of whatever you see. So, still, puts fire energy in the discard, which might be useful for our next card.
Exactly. It's a real bummer that fire energy's in the discard. But wait.
Oh, I hate that. JK.
And this combos with the Charizard that we mentioned earlier. Golly gee, if there was only some way to have fire support. We've got the Stadium...
Gee, why does fire support never get
right?
any attention?
We've got the Stadium Magma Basin. Once during each player's turn, that player may attach a fire energy from their discard pile to one of their benched fire-type Pokemon. If a player attached energy to a Pokemon in this way, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. There's your Charizard charge up. There's your any fire type charge up.
It's fantastic. And 2 damage counters is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, with the number of, like, damage that we're doing a lot of the time, like, it's frequently not going to change the math.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful if it does change your math, but odds are it won't.
Exactly. I do like...
People are doing such big numbers.
Exactly. I do like that they kind of didn't make the same mistake they did with Welder, in that it specifies benched fire-type
Pokemon?
Yep.
Yeah, they said not again, never
no
again.
No Welder Mewtwo or anything like that garbage again, for now. So, that's nice. But yeah, fire gets a lot more powerful. Centiskorch might return, folks. So, this will be very fun.
Next card. We have Cynthia's Ambition. It's a supporter card. Draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, draw until you have 8 cards instead.
I like it for Wormadam.
Yeah. We threw this in there because it doesn't seem powerful on its face, but it's a lot more powerful in practice, especially for, like you said, Sublime, those single prize attackers. Yeah. It's like Bruno, but you don't have to get rid of your whole hand, so you can still keep things that you want and draw up to 8. It's deceptively powerful. Don't sleep on this.
I would definitely run it in a 1 prize deck for sure.
Yeah, even some 2 prizes. Honestly, this isn't bad in 2 prizes sometimes, but
yeah, and this is helpful at any stage of the game. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good comeback card. It's a good just double down. Like, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, was it Teammates?
Yes.
It's not the same effect, but it reminds me a little bit of Teammates, you know?
Yeah, Teammates was you were able to grab whatever you wanted.
If you had something knocked out the last round.
Mm-hmm. Similar to Raihan right now, too, which is the same text of something has to be knocked out last turn. So
makes you think, makes you wonder what they gonna play, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they might just break it down in a collapsed stadium.
Hey.
With a new stadium card, they might just collapse. Which, sorry, Eternatus, but you're getting another thing to deal with.
Yeah.
The hits just keep coming for Eternatus. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a pile at this point. Don't play Eternatus, folks. You heard it here.
Oh, it's like every set has something else that's bad for Eternatus, is how it feels. Even if it gets some new toy, it's like, and here's another thing that's bad for you.
Yeah.
Each player can't have more than 4 benched Pokemon. Ugh. 4? 4. So they have to discard until there are 4. That could be fun for Wormadam against Eternatus.
Correct.
That'd be fun. Yeah, so watch out if you need a full bench.
This could also be really easily weaved into a lot of things that play stuff like Crobat or Lumineon.
Yeah, good way to get rid of your Crobat. Scot-free.
Did we talk about the Lumineon?
No, but it's really good. We should.
Yeah. Where?
Oh,
what
did
set
we
was
miss
that
one?
in? I think we did, maybe.
Yeah, because it's Lumineon, so we probably were like, ugh, Lumineon. But it's actually good. It is. Yeah, we should talk about.
Yeah,
Lumineon
we definitely
real
need
quick.
to weave that in here. So I'll go ahead and do that. So we've got Lumineon V. It's a water type with 170. It's a basic, and the ability is going to sound very familiar. Luminous Sign. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck.
Hey Mew. Was it Mew?
It was Lele.
Or
Tapu
Jirachi.
Lele.
I'm thinking Jirachi.
Jirachi EX and Tapu Lele GX.
Yep.
It's got an attack as well, which is kind of cool. Water colorless. Aqua Return does 120 damage. Shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached into your deck. Worth 2 prizes: weakness, lightning, resistance, none, retreat cost 1. We skipped it. Whoopsie doodle. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I can't believe we missed that. 'Cause this is like a 1 of 2 of in like
a lot
so many
of
decks.
things.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, it's good. It's real good.
But, say you play it and you don't want to have to worry about doing that stupid attack to get it off your bench. Have 5 Pokemon down on your bench.
Fill your bench.
Throw Collapse Stadium down, discard it. Ta-da.
Yep.
Or if you have a damaged something.
I'm probably gonna run this in the Wormadam decks as well because I
Absolutely.
had what was it called? Parallel Cities.
Yep.
was the card that I had.
Oh, that was such a cool card.
Yeah. It had like two different sides.
Yeah, and you could choose which side.
Yeah. So the one of the flippy sides, if you pointed it at the
Reduced your damage of certain types.
Yeah, it would reduce.
And the other
damage
side
to
reduced
type
your bench
score.
size.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very
So this will be fun and helpful for just throwing Pokemon in the discard, as well as getting rid of the like 2 prize cards that you're using in that 1 prize deck to just try and make it that much harder for them to get a prize card advantage.
Exactly. Very good stadium. And so now for the final card that we're covering of the sets. That is the one that we've mentioned a couple of times, Double Turbo Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 colorless energy. The attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 20 less damage to your opponent's Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. So,
Which I do not care in the slightest.
it's a double colorless for the cost of 20 damage, which is, if you've got a choice belt attached, is a net 10 positive.
Yep.
Very good.
Fantastic card. I'm so happy that it's here.
Goes great with Arceus, goes great with Vespiquen, goes great with Mew. Anything with colorless energy cost. There's no, can't be used on rulebox nonsense. It's very, very good.
Which just goes to show you how insanely good double colorless energy was.
Yeah. And I'm kind of okay
the
with
thing
them
with
not
the
reprinting.
detriment is still good. I mean, it would. You just aspire for things that you miss that you love, but I do like how they've balanced it since. Yeah.
All right. So that is it for the Pokemon and the Pokemon trainers. Well, not all the Pokemon, because next up we have our Venusaur Best.
Before you marches a Titan. Do not be ashamed of the fear inside you. Embrace it as you witness the Venusaur Best.
Look, you guys, it's a Venusaur!
All right, and we are back with our Venusaur Best, and we are starting out with Seth's top pick.
All right. So this is another Pokemon that I'm including here. There's a couple other V-Stars that are coming out that aren't included in sets. These are coming out in promo boxes on January 28th. They will be the first interaction we have with the V Star mechanic. Those Pokemon are Glacion and Leafeon V Star. The one I'm going to talk about, though, is Leafeon, because I am super hyped for that. And what better to cover in Venusaur Best than a grass type? It's Leafeon V Star, HP 260. The attack is okay. It's Leaf Guard. It does 180 for Grass colorless, and during your opponent's next turn, it takes 30 less damage. But the reason you run this, and it's usually, in what I'm thinking, going to be a one of in any decks that play Leafeon V, it's got the V Star power IV Star. During your turn, it's an ability, most importantly. During your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active. It's a boss's orders on an ability.
On a once per game ability.
Once per game ability that you can just evolve into. Don't have to do it the turn you evolve it. You can just have that sitting, waiting, ready to go. And Leafeon V is very good. It's been seeing some play, like either alongside Moltres, Galarian Moltres for things. This can evolve from the same Leafeon V that we have now, the basic one. There's another one coming out in this, but it's not as good as the Greening Cells one, so run it with that. And just sit it on your bench and wait. And, be popping things with Moltres, be popping things with the other Leafeon that does damage based on retreat cost. I've even seen Leafeon paired with Mew in some lists. Mew being able to weave in a boss's orders on the same turn they Ellis' Sparkle or Roseanne's Research is devastatingly powerful. So I am super excited for Leafeon V Star to come out. That's my Venusaur Best, so watch me play the crap out of that on the 28th when I get the box.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that it's just kind of like, here's this great Pokemon Leafeon, and Leafeon V, and we're gonna throw this V Star here that, whatever. But this ability, I love that. I absolutely love it.
It's such a cool inclusion with the Greening Cells Leafeon, because that thing has seen play by itself, just as a supporting card in decks. Because if in this current format, if you don't get your primary V down on turn 1 and an energy attached, you are on the back foot on turn 1. So if you just drop down a Leafeon, use Greening Cells to search your deck for a grass energy and attach it to something, then later on you can evolve it into this and you've still got utility out of that bench slot. It's not just an empty sitter there for the rest of the game. You can use it twice, in a sense. It's such a cool inclusion. I think Leafeon will see a lot more play existing and throwing in 2 grass energies to random things for this reason alone.
All right, and next up, we've got my choice. It's kind of cheating, not really cheating. I guess my pick specifically would be the Electivire in the set. But it can't be talked about without the Magmortar.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll start with Magmortar for the purposes of why Electivire is here. Magmortar, Fire, HP 140. For a double colorless, you have Mega Punch 50 damage. Nobody cares. For 3 fire and a colorless, you have Bolt Projection, 120 plus damage. If Electivire is on your bench, this attack does 120 more damage. Fantastic attack. Electivire is obviously the partner that you're playing this with, because it's not going to work any other way.
Mm-hmm.
But why Electivire is doing its very best is it's Lightning, HP 140. For 1 Lightning, it has Explosive Bolt, 30 plus damage. If any of your benched Magmortar have any damage counters on them, this attack does 90 more damage. That would be something that would happen often because of the magma basin that you would want to play with this. And then the next attack, 2 Lightning and a colorless, High Voltage Current. This attack does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weaknesses and resistances for the bench. Weakness Fighting, Resistance None, Retreat Cost of 3. So, Magmortar is the star of these two, this little combo here. He's the damage dealer. Electivire is just there to, unfortunately, because I'm actually kind of a fan of both of his attacks. They're not bad, right? Mm-hmm. They're pretty solid. The problem is that now to use Electivire, you have to have Lightning Energy in the deck as well. And that is just not going to happen. I am not going to ride that sort of clunky train. So what ends up happening is you're going to have to throw in Electabuzz in order to evolve it into Electivire. And then you're going to have to just have Electivire sit there doing nothing on the bench while Magmortar steals all the spotlight. Now, if you're a Magmortar fan, that's fantastic. However, I am an Electivire fan, and I'm not super happy about that. However, I do appreciate that Electivire is just going to be sitting on the bench, supporting his bro Magmortar, and just being like, yeah, man, it's cool. Like, I'm pretty cool too. But, I'll just sit back here and let you do all the hard work.
I could see a couple things with this. First of all, I want to point out that the Magmortar, its attack is actually 2 fire and a colorless, just to make sure. I thought
I said 2 fire.
You said 3, but it's all good.
For the listeners, though, that makes it that much better, because they're probably listening going, what the heck? That's a crappy attack. If you want to be... I don't know if this would add clunk or consistency or like a final endgame attacker. Run this with Rayquaza V and Rayquaza VMAX. That has the same energy cost of lightning and fire, and you can use that ability to discard your hand, draw 3. That gets fires in the discard, that runs through your hand quicker, and you could just be manually attaching to that and blow something up endgame. So that might be how this works. That could be a thing.
That could be cool, but I'm thinking, like, what are you doing? Like, almost 8 cards just with the Magmar and the Magmortar, and then probably an additional 4 for the Electivire, right? The 2 Electivire and the 2 Electabuzz to get that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, I don't like those numbers when you're not when discarding the Pokemon is not part of the plan. But that is interesting. I like the idea of having some weird Pokemon that comes in there and makes these things like Fusion Ha better,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's something here. Someone's going to figure something out and win a local tournament with this.
All right, next up, Sublime.
Okay, this is what we covered, but I just want to harp on why it's my Venusaur best, and that would be the Honchkrow V. The Honchkrow V, the one that said, you can attach 4 tools, and the one that said, hey, for 2 dark and a colorless, you can look at your opponent's hand and do some damage. And I said, okay, if I'm looking at your hand when I do damage, that's cute, like I had said. But what you gonna do about it, because your turn just ended? Nothing. And then it's like, ooh, you can wear 4 hats. You so accessorizing, Honchkrow V. I love that for you. But what 4 tools are you going to equip with it that's going to make it fierce? And it's like, nothing. We were talking like, oh, you could give it 4 capes and it would have 400 HP. And I'm like, and then what?
And then what?
What's it doing?
Exactly. 130 a turn, that's what.
Yeah. Ooh, you can knock out that Bibarel.
Yeah. Honestly, though, there is potential here.
Yeah, but it's not going to be easy to do because getting 4 tools available to put on one of these is not convenient. Toolbox is a fun deck archetype. It is not. It is clunky. I've always found Toolbox decks to be clunky in terms of their deck lists, in terms of playing, because you need so many tools that clog up your deck that is normally used for filtering. Pokemon, I think, as a TCG game, in general, has very efficient engines, but they take up a more significant part of your deck. And having to clog it up with so many tools, if you were to do that's a lot of tools that are just like, well, what am I doing with this tool? This could have been a supporter, but instead it's a tool that I can't,
Hear me out. This is glimpsing into Seth's Mew deck a little bit. One stadium that would go really well with this that lets you be a little bit more flexible and kind of be able to drop tools wherever you want is Shopping Center. If you don't know what that stadium does, once per turn you can pull a tool off of one of your Pokemon back into your hand. So that lets you you can more freely put down tools knowing you can pull them back up later.
Yeah, that's true. You can modularize.
Yeah, like you realize, oh shoot, now I need an extra cape.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, y'all, I love Honchkrow. I'm a big fan. I do love my dark types. I love my crows. I love my haunches. But, I just don't see it for the boss. I love it, though. I'm gonna mess around with it. but I don't see it for it. I would play with it at the, casually. If I was trying to top cut, I would not.
You could be really ugly to your opponent and put 4 Spirit Mask on Honchkrow.
You'd have to get 4 Spirit Mask. That's the thing. Getting 4 of a specific item. Oof.
Right. I mean, you
That's
could
like
run
doing
it
a
with
V
an
Union for
Inteleon
it,
engine if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You could get what you need. Shady Dealings it out. But Spirit Mask, if it's attacked by something, your opponent has to discard a card from their hand. So not only are you attacking and seeing what their hand is, they have to discard however many Spirit Masks you have attached to it.
That's true.
You could mill them out in a really interesting, fun, dumb way.
But then, that's going to be funny, because you're going to attack for 130. Oh, let me see. Oh, you don't have one. Oh, never mind. What's in your hand? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
What did you
for that
keep?
reason, I feel like Honchkrow's trying to be cute. It's trying to be cute, and it's doing its Venusaur best.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This will be the wrap-up. Thank you for joining me today, Seth.
My pleasure, as always. Sorry again, my voice is probably funnier than normal.
It's all good. It's just as funny as normal.
I'm doing my Venusaur best here, yo.
Sublime, it is always a pleasure. It was nice to have you after
It is always a pleasure. I love being on. I got to give people a chance, too. That's the thing. It can't always be the Sublime show.
That's true.
So sometimes you take a step back.
And thank you to all of you wonderful Puckalonians who have been listening and enjoying the TCGcast. I have been Basket, and it has been my pleasure.
Yeah. And I'm Sublime.
I don't know. I'm Seth Vilo. Yay!